In July of 2025, I had the incredible opportunity to visit Barbados, where I documented all the historic sites in the country. But this one was something special. What started as a simple tour of Clifton Hall Great House quickly became something far greater. The owner welcomed me warmly, shared the estate's history, and gave me a lesson that reached far beyond Barbados, touching on the Roman Empire, the Byzantine world, theology, and the remarkable story of the Paleologus family. Now, this video is gonna be a little bit longer than usual, but I'd really encourage you to watch it all the way through. Everything leads to the final chapter, when I visit the grave of Ferdinando Paleologus, the last descendant of the Byzantine imperial dynasty. Don't miss that part. So settle in, enjoy the journey, and I think by the end, you'll see why this became one of the most unforgettable experiences of my research. Clifton Hall Great House, circa 1656.
And it's right, there are no live termites, but there's lots of evidence where they've been. So I've had to rip down lots of walls and
Okay,
rebuild lots of stuff.
okay. So it's like you occupy all of the building.
Yeah, I own the whole building.
Okay, let me get a wider angle so that you can stay closer. Alright, so you'd love to give me a tour of the building?
Yeah.
Or would you give me some information about it while you walk, alright?
The house was first built by Ferdinando Paleologus.
Fernando
Fernando
I found this tomb.
You
I found this tomb the other day. I just did the video.
And he was referred
He was
to
from
as
the
Greek
Byzantine,
prince.
yeah, from the Byzantine Empire.
He was the last, well, his son was the last male descendant of the Byzantine Empire.
Yes, yes.
Of course, the word Byzantine...
Oh, hold on. Just a question. Sorry to cut you. The person that built this house is the father of the one that's buried in St. John's Church.
No, it is the man.
He is the man.
He is the man.
Okay.
He was the first owner.
Oh.
He had the first mortgage on this property,
Yes.
Fernando Paleologus, and it was built in 1656.
1656.
But of course, it wasn't the Byzantine Emperor.
Oh.
It's the Roman Empire.
I said that in
The
the video.
word Byzantine was given to the name of the empire by some German historian many years later.
Okay.
If you'd have gone to Constantinople and you asked, what are you people? They'd have said, we are Romans. We are the Roman Emperor.
Yeah, because there's a lot of Greco-Roman influence on the island.
Right. What happened was, I got a bit there. This house was opened by the Historic Society, and it says that Fernando Paleologus, in the Advocate, it said, was descendant of Constantine the Great.
Oh.
That's not true.
And
He's
that-
descendant of Constantine the 11th.
Thank you.
Constantine the Great was the governor of the armies of Great Britain. And that was in the year 312, when Maxentius, who was the emperor of the eastern part of the empire, because sometimes the Roman Empire had two emperors, sometimes four and sometimes one.
Oh.
And Constantine's father was the emperor for the western section. And his father died, and his troops named his son as his successor.
Okay.
And Maxentius, who was the emperor of the east, tried to take the whole lot. And this is in about the year 312. Constantine went back to Rome to fight Maxentius to get to be the emperor of his bit.
Okay.
And he was supposed to have seen, according to history, a sign in the sky with the letters IHS saying, in this sign conquer. In hoc signa in Latin,
In hoc signa.
in this sign conquer. And he saw the Chirio sign of Christianity.
Okay.
And it says that he put that symbol on his shields. He fought the Battle of Milvian Bridge. He defeated Maxentius, and he became the Roman Emperor. Right?
Okay.
Then he switched the capital from Rome to Constantinople, which he built, which is now called Istanbul, in Turkey. That was the wealthiest part of the empire. It was more defensible. And have you ever seen anything about Constantinople and the walls? And
Yeah, a bit of history about
Yeah.
outside of
So
colonial
he
history.
then shifted the capital there. So they were Romans, and it was the Roman Empire.
Okay.
The Rome fell in 410, and then a bit later totally fell to the barbarians in the year 410. But of course the capital now was in Constantinople,
Was in
and that carried
Constantinople.
on. And when did that last until?
I'm not sure.
1453, 1,000 years more.
Oh, so the question I really have, although I think you're getting there,
Yeah.
how did they end up in the Caribbean?
Yeah, well, let's go from it. So Constantine the 11th was the last Byzantine emperor, Roman emperor, because the name Byzantine was foisted on them because the city was originally founded by some guy who they derived his name from Byza. All right.
Okay.
So, but
And because of the German influence
yeah,
in the language.
The Germans foisted this name on it. But if you'd ever gone there, they'd have said we're Romans,
Okay, I
although
understand.
they spoke Greek. Because
That's
the
why
Roman,
it's called Greco-Roman.
the language of the empire was Greek until it became Latin. That's why the
Okay.
New Testament was written in Greek, because it was the common language
Was-
all over the Middle East. All right?
I've
And
learned
so,
something.
Constantine is the emperor there, and that now goes on until 1453. And Constantine the Great, the whole empire has been lost. The only bits left is Constantinople, the city itself, which is in Istanbul, and a place called the Morea, which is an area of Greece,
Morea.
and some islands. That was all that was left of the empire.
Okay.
And the Ottoman Turks now made a big attack for, I think it was 20 odd days, attacking the city. And eventually they breached the walls, which were triple walls. I've been there. And Constantine Paleologus said that he would rather die as an emperor with an empire than live as an emperor without an empire. So he
Okay.
charged into the battle. He said, whoever's with me, come on. And he got killed fighting on the battlements.
Okay.
His brother was called Thomas, and he was still in charge of that piece of the empire in Greece called the Morea. And his title was the Despot of Morea. Have you heard
What's
the word
that?
despotic?
What is despotic?
Well, despotic is someone who's really nasty. Now, we have a saying in Britain that power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. A despot was an absolute ruler. No parliament, no government, no advisors. He was the total
Like a
ruler. What he
dictatorship.
said went.
It's like a
total
dictatorship.
dictatorship. And obviously people like that can go awry. So we've developed the word despotic from the way some despots used to act.
Okay.
So
I
about 3
understand.
years later, the Morea was again conquered and Greece became part of the Ottoman Empire as well.
Okay.
And
Sorry.
so Thomas fled to Rome, and they'd rejoined the Catholic Church rather than the Orthodox Church, thinking they would get some assistance from the Pope to get their empire back, which they didn't get. And so Thomas lived in Rome.
Okay,
His
the sun kinda
descendants,
burn my eye then.
yeah,
Get out
his
of the sun.
descendants then,
Yeah.
they moved to Britain. And if we come in here, this is the old part of the house, which we'll deal about the house in a moment. But how did Fernando ever come here? What brought him here?
Yes, that's.
Well, first of all, if the empire had not been divided, he wouldn't have survived as an emperor. That wouldn't have happened.
True.
So it goes back there.
So it's one of those things where you have to lose to gain.
Yeah, so we come in here. This is the main entrance.
It's lovely.
I want to show you this book first,
Okay.
and then we'll deal with the house.
Yes.
So Fernando's ancestors then fled to England, and his father was in the employment of the Earl of Lincoln, and his job was
He was an assassin.
an assassin for the Earl of Lincoln, his henchman. And this was the story of the man who built this house, his father.
Paleologus.
And he has a commemoration in a church in Cornwall, which is the southern
Seducer, spy, and the killer.
Yeah, okay. And so what brought his son here?
Yeah.
Well, there's another bit of history. His son fought in the English Civil War Fernando fought in the English Civil War.
Okay.
And he fought for the king.
Yeah.
The king lost the war. And what did he lose next? His
He
head.
lost his, as usual.
So Fernando thought, let's get out of Dodge. I've supported the wrong guy. So that's why he came here.
Okay.
So if it wasn't for Constantinople being moved, if it wasn't for the British Civil War, he
And
would
the
never have come
Ottomans,
here.
he wouldn't have.
He come here because he had a relative called Mary Bowles who had a plantation.
Mary Bowles, B-O-W-S? B-O-W-L-S?
B-A-L-L-S, Bowles.
I think I come across.
Mary Bowles, the Bowles plantation. And he came here and built this house in 1756 and started a plantation. And in his plantation, if you look around at some of our maps, you'll see they have pineapples on. Because on the map of this plantation, the ancient map, it shows pineapples. And they think probably he grew pineapples.
He grew pineapples.
Yeah.
Okay, let me get some footage of this. And everything, all of these in the house is from, everything in the house is from that era?
This part of the house was built in the 1800s.
Okay.
When we go through here, the older part, beyond the staircase, the older part is what is left that was built in 1656.
Okay, okay.
Okay.
And has it ever been refurbished after the 1800s?
It fell into great ruin, and somebody who was the Minister of Tourism, a man called Morgan, bought it and did some restoration. It fell into more ruin, and 17 years ago, a lot of work was done by an Italian, a Scottish Italian, who was called Massimo Franchi, and I bought the house off him in December, and he did a lot of renovation, but also a lot of it was just covered over.
Okay.
I'll tell you, it's all, I paid a lot less than it.
Really lovely. Okay. So that gives us an idea.
She's checking out what pieces are missing, and she's managed to so far find 20 pieces more to get in UK to finish off the set.
Oh, so you're trying to complete.
I think it's, how many people do we seat here? 1, 2,
4, 6,
3,
8,
4,
12,
5, 6, 14,
18.
15, 16, 18.
18.
People sit down for dinner.
So it's an 18-seater
So we need
table.
18 of everything.
Okay.
With our gold plated.
So you guys are serious in putting it all back together? You're serious in putting it all back together?
This back, yeah.
Yeah, and-
Yeah, we're collecting all the pieces.
Okay.
I have 18 of everything.
Okay, let me get a look at this. This is awesome. This is original, right?
This is reproduction furniture.
Okay.
All this furniture we bought with the house.
Okay.
I built a house here 17 years ago on the coast in St. Christopher on Seaside Drive, and I sold that villa and bought this
Okay.
because I needed something to keep me active because I'm in my 80th year.
Wow, you don't look it.
I'm 79.
You don't look it.
The music room, and if you come here in August, we're having a classical music event
August.
by 2 people from UK, 2 musicians, a violinist and a pianist.
You can
On the
film.
16th.
You can film because we have the mic, all right? Okay. Wow. It's just lovely.
The artwork was done by the best artists in Wales. We come from Wales in the UK.
Okay.
And this artwork was all done by a Welsh artist, which has a theme of a carnival.
Yeah, that's what I'm noticing. Oh, so it's more
The grand piano we recently acquired, and incredibly that grand piano came from Clifton House in the UK to Clifton Hall in Barbados.
Because, yeah, I noticed that with a lot of the buildings that I found, they always have another in Scotland or in somewhere in the UK.
So one thing I didn't mention is that Fernando fought for the king and had to get out of Dodge because the king lost. But Fernando's brother was a captain in the army fighting for the parliament on the other side. And
So they were on different sides?
yes.
Wow.
And his brother has a memorial in Westminster Abbey, which is the church where all the kings and queens in England get crowned.
Okay.
So Fernando's brother has a memorial in Westminster Abbey.
That's interesting. I'm going to find a picture of that and make sure that's in the video also. Yeah, interesting so far. Let's see. I'm just amazed. I'm certainly amazed because I found so many great houses. The first time I'm being inside of one that's still.
And here we have 3 novels. This is written
James
about.
Stevenson, The Pretender.
These are fictitious with some facts. Fernando's son became a privateer. Do you know what a privateer is?
A privateer is just like a pirate.
A pirate with a license.
Yeah, he was legal. He was.
He gives part of his spoils to the king.
He got a license from the crown.
Yeah. So Fernando's son was a privateer. The last of the line was his daughter, called Godshall Paleologus, and that's virtually all we know about her. She probably died in childhood, which is why we know no more about her.
Okay.
And these are 3 fictitious novels written by an English lecturer at a university about the family, about this house. I'm hoping to get her to come here and maybe do a talk about her work.
Record them so that I could find them on Amazon. Can they be found on Amazon?
Family history.
Can they be found on Amazon?
Yes, they can, and that one.
Okay.
I found that very boring. And the gentleman that owned the house previously, he has Clifton Hall rum manufactured. Okay. So let's go upstairs.
Yes. It's really a pleasure getting to tour this place.
Again, all this artwork was done by our Welsh artist, Leonard Beard.
Okay.
Unfortunately, he died 2 years after he did our artwork for us.
It always happens like that in most cases.
Actually makes our paintings worth more money, but that's not very nice.
No.
Okay. So this room here is the first. So this was the second area I started to repair. This is the master bedroom.
Wow.
Now, the floor was sunk 4 inches. That's all been taken up and levelled. The walls were all eaten away with termites. They've all been replaced. The ceiling was caving in, and that.
Oh, you
has
got
been
it when it
replaced.
was like going into ruin.
No, that was when we bought it. That's what it was like. I've just finished this room.
Okay. So you're actually bringing it back to what it was. It's like you're recreating it.
Yes.
To the way it was.
I'm quite skilled at all sorts of things.
So you do a lot of this yourself?
Yeah.
Okay, like, the furniture is bought, right?
The furniture came with the house. This furniture came with the house.
It came with the house?
Yeah.
It looks modern.
Okay, and all these floors were all taken up because they were sunk, and we had to
Oh,
pack
they
them
were
up.
sink. Okay.
New ceilings, new walls, new walls.
Okay. Nice closet.
Now, when local people come and they see this bathroom, I always ask them one question. I say, "Are you one of the 10?" And they say, "What do you mean?" And I said, "Well, apparently there's a photograph going around on this island of 10 naked people in that shower." So I say, "Are you one of the 10?" And they usually say no, but I never had anyone admit it yet.
Okay. May I understand? Lovely shower. I haven't seen one like it before.
No, this is all Italian marble.
Okay. So total different design. Clothes and shoes and handbags.
She has also a wardrobe in Tenerife, in our apartment, and a wardrobe in the UK, in our apartment there.
Wow. That's the whole line. You know? Love the fan blades.
Yeah.
Lovely.
So this was totally renovated.
It's really lovely. And you're doing an excellent job. You know?
This room is the room we're currently working on.
Okay.
give you some idea of what you have to do.
Oh.
Here we're putting in a new ceiling and reboarding that wall. The timbers there are okay. The timbers in that wall, in those walls in there, were all falling down. We don't have to replace those timbers. We have to replace the ceiling.
Oh, wow.
So we're currently doing this room. Now there was a lobby there going into a bedroom. I've stolen the lobby and I'm going to put a bathroom in here as part of the bedroom, open to the bedroom.
Oh, you're gonna, so it would be a...
Just
more
a
like-
shower, a wash hand basin, a small wall, a low wall to hide the loo, and that will all be part of the room.
Okay. Now I'm gonna get the idea as to how it was, you know?
And then, so you used to go into that bedroom by going through an opening here and through the doorway there,
Oh, well, you moved it.
but we've moved it, so now this comes into the bathroom, which was shared between the two rooms.
Oh, this is
It's
a
now going to
bathroom.
be, we're going to move this wall from here to here,
Yeah.
increase the size of the bedroom, and this will be the ensuite for this bedroom.
Okay.
This is the one bedroom here. So this bedroom will get, so you see the doorway used to be there. So it's going to move over. This bedroom will become a bit larger.
All the beds are the same.
Work in progress.
Yes. Well, you have done a lot. You have done
This
a...
is since December.
Since December?
Yeah.
Okay. All of up here?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I've worked every day, 12 hours a day,
This is lovely.
because we moved in here before we bought it. The man allowed us in November. So, and I had to do work on my other house before I left. So since September the 1st, I've worked 7 days a week,
Okay.
every day,
Every day.
since September, at least 12 hours a day, sometimes 16.
And that's one of the reasons why you're still
Why I'm
fit.
still fit.
Yeah, you know.
I was 79 on the 22nd of May.
Wow. And where we go from here?
Through here, there's another room which you can't see.
Yeah, I understand.
My grandson is in there at the moment. He said, please don't come in. So there we have a large bedroom and another bathroom en suite.
Okay.
I'll have it cleaned up if they want to come in like 5 minutes.
Okay, we'll come in the other way then. We'll do the other home first, all right?
All right, thank you.
No worries.
So there we go. He doesn't want you to see it untidy. This was the first room I started, which I haven't finished. This is going to be the library,
Okay.
where I have 2,500 books of Christian theology.
2,500, like
Yeah.
2,500.
Books.
And Christian theology.
Yeah. So I study orthodoxy as well, so I know a little bit about that.
Okay, I understand.
This has got to have a lot of fancy timber around all the doorways, put back. Some of it has been.
Okay, like a religious theme.
Some of it has already been. You see, what happens is that
And
if you look at the timbers around, we've got these wide panels, and they look okay, but actually they're full of holes and rotten with termites. I take them off, fill them, treat them to prevent further termite damage, put them back and repaint them.
Okay.
So that has happened with all these architraves in the rooms that you've seen completed. We just did the whole stairs and landing and got it finished the day before the wedding was here.
I like the
Yeah,
setting up the
it's all been
staircase.
painted and new ceiling.
Okay.
And here, this was originally the outside door of the house. And this is now the older section of the house.
Okay,
These
this was
are-
like this, or you put
These
these
are
tiles
the
in?
original tiles, 1656. There'll be a small toilet with.
Oh, this is like a
That there.
visitor's,
We have
like
this.
a half bath.
This veranda here is on 3 sides of the building, like this.
Okay. Oh, wow.
Down there, of course. And
It's
there.
lovely.
You can walk the veranda if you like. So this is on 3 sides of the building.
Original arches.
These are the grounds where we have weddings out here. Anyone getting married, people get married here. So again, you see like all this has been had to be taken off, repaired, pieces put in when it was rotten, back together. I do all that work.
You're doing a good job. You mean you actually replace these
Put a piece
pieces?
in, yeah.
Wow. And it looks as if it was like that.
Yeah.
You can't even see that it was repaired.
No.
You know?
My trade, I started work as a boy, repairing cars,
Oh,
painting and repairing crashed vehicles, panel beating and spraying, vehicle bodywork and painting.
And that was around age
I was 15
15.
and I earned £3 19 shillings
That's a week or a day?
a week.
Well, that
1
would be-
shilling and 8 pence an hour, and then there were 20 shillings in a pound. I was getting 1 shilling and 8 pence an hour for a 48.5-hour week with 2 weeks holiday.
And that would be good back then.
That was it. I was 15 years old with no qualifications.
Wow, boy, you made use of it.
And then I learnt my trade and I got a job teaching in a technical college. And while I was teaching, I then did a degree in education.
Okay.
So I'm a Bachelor of Education. My wife is a Master, got an MBA in Business, which she got as we were running our businesses. This is a statue of St. Francis. That is a statue of David, King David.
Really old statue. You've got it a while. It came with the house, right? It came with the house.
Yeah. The man walked away left every day. So then we have 3 sides of this
Three
veranda.
sides. It's lovely. I've found the ruins, but
Here
I've
are the
only.
garages and outbuildings. We're going to put an apartment under here. Then that will be garages, and above we will put 2 more apartments, and they will be for people, just holiday makers to rent.
Okay, okay.
That's currently I'm playing around with that.
Yeah. Alright. This is a kitchen.
Hello,
area.
Gracie. This is Gracie the parrot.
Hey, Gracie. Hey, Gracie.
She does say a few things.
Okay, she doesn't feel like it now. Okay, this is the kitchen area.
Yeah. Yeah, and the next bit over there.
Oh, wow. This is rather huge. Fancy.
That was a fireplace. Why they have fires in this heat is to do with the sugar cane.
Okay.
And then we come through here. All this rendering has recently been finished. All this was just painted pink, and it was all bubbling and flaking off.
Oh.
She's the only person that can touch it is my wife. So we've just had all this done, rendered through.
And this was like a courtyard.
Yeah, the swimming pool. The swimming pool was a water tank.
Okay, hold on. Give me a second. So this was the water tank.
George Fox in the 1600s. He used to walk into British churches and take over the meeting and got locked up and put in prison for doing that. He used to call their churches steeple houses.
Okay.
And the Quakers came to Barbados to help educate the slaves because the Church of England would not preach the gospel to the slaves. Because how could you have a man as a slave and as a Christian brother?
Oh.
So you stole his life by enslaving him, and you stole his heaven by not letting him know about Jesus. So who were the first missionaries to teach the slaves in the Caribbean? Do you know?
I think
The first missionaries to the Christian missionaries to the slaves in the Caribbean were the Moravians.
Moravians.
The Moravians were a Christian sect which they lived on the land of Moravia. Count Zinzendorf welcomed all people, all Christians were at that time in Europe were at war with each other. And anyone who wanted peace could go to Herrenhut, which was the land that Zinzendorf owned, and they could find peace and live together.
Oh, it was like a
So
sanctuary.
all the different groups came, and of course they all disagreed with everything they thought, and it was very difficult to keep the peace. And they decided they would pray and ask God to join them in love.
Oh.
And the Holy Spirit fell upon them in the 1600s, and they kept praying for quite a while. How long do you think their prayer meeting lasted?
Like 40 days, 40 nights? 40 days and 40
A
nights?
little more?
Like 50. Like a year? Like more than a year? Whoa. About half a century? 50 years?
More.
That's like 1,000 years.
They prayed for 100 years
100. Oh.
in shifts.
Whoa.
And their prayer was that one family out of 10 would go as missionaries and spread the message of Jesus. God didn't answer that prayer. One family in 4 went as missionaries. So how did the missionaries come to the Caribbean? Because the only people coming here were slaves and slave traders and plantation owners.
Okay.
Well, 2 missionaries decided they would sell themselves to a slave owner. And they would come as slaves to preach to the slaves. And eventually they didn't have to do that because the Queen of Denmark paid for their passage.
Okay.
And 2 of them came, and they, white people, and they said to the slaves, "We've come to be your servants."
And that
And
would
the
have
slaves-
sounded a way
the
to the
slaves
slaves.
thought, this is another white man trick.
They
How
would
can
have thought that,
slaves have slaves?
you know? Yeah, they would have thought that.
And one of them returned home, and the other missionary became very sick. And a slave family took him into his hut, and they looked after him, and they saw he was a real, genuine Christian, and they became the first Christian slaves. And that were the Moravians, and they started in the island of St. Thomas. And if you Google a film by the Moravian Church called First Fruits, you will see that story in film.
I would
First
first
fruits.
fruits. I
First
most
fruits.
certainly do that.
And so the Moravians, they were also very influential on John Wesley. John Wesley went to
Wesley.
America to preach, and he was coming back a failure. And there was a great storm, and people were in great fear. And there were Moravian people on the ship, and they were singing hymns and praising God while everyone else was frightened. And he was very impressed by them, and it was through the Moravians that John Wesley had an awakening in his own heart, a spiritual awakening, and became a true Christian, and
Okay.
started the Methodist Church.
Also, the Methodist Church, you would say it's because of
Influenced
the
by
Moravians.
the
Yeah, influenced by the Moravians.
Here we have another small bathroom. So the second owner was a Quaker. They are called Quakers because in America you have a similar group who are called the Shakers.
Shakers.
The Quakers and Shakers. What do you think they did? They quaked and they shaked. The Quakers had a tradition that they would meet in silence, and they would not preach or sing or do anything until the power of the Spirit visited their meeting.
Okay.
And how would they recognize that? They would start to shake.
They would start to shake.
And that's why they were called Quakers.
And a lot of religions adopted that a lot of religions have adopted that because when they say they get into spirit, they shake and
Yeah.
tremble, you know?
Now, when I was in the UK, I was seeking to buy a new kitchen for one of my businesses. And we went into this shop, and they had this very simple furniture for kitchens. And I said to the lady, "This is Shaker style furniture, isn't it?" She said, "Yes, it is." I said, "Do you know why they are called Shakers? What Shaker style is?" I said, "There's a religious group in America called the Shakers." And they meet in silence until the spirit comes, and they start to shake when the power of the spirit comes upon them.
Yeah.
And then that's where they get the name. I said, the same thing happens to my wife when the power of the spirit comes upon her.
She starts to shake.
And she said, now you're just telling me jokes. I said, no. And as my wife walked by her and asked her something about the kitchen, the woman in the shop started to shake. I said, yes, like that. I said, that is the Holy Spirit telling you that what I'm telling you is not nonsense.
Facts. Yes.
It's a fact. So, and then we carried on, and then when we actually bought something, and when my wife went to write the check by the lady again, she started shaking again. I said, there you go. I said, the Holy Spirit
Yes,
is present
that's the power.
here.
The power
Wherever
of the Holy
believers
Spirit.
are, there he is.
Yes. This is lovely.
So the Quakers and the Shakers. The Quakers was, I forget his name, he was the second owner here. This is where we have our sort of more relaxed meals. And we just put a pond in because we found a turtle on the ground.
Oh, so you,
Having built the pond for him, we named him Speedy.
and he's still here?
gone.
He's gone?
Yeah.
Where did he go?
Well, somewhere in these 4 acres.
Wow.
There are currently 4 acres of land here. There were 400 acres when it was a plantation, and 300 odd slaves.
It was still Clifton Hill Plantation, right?
Yeah, Clifton Hall.
Clifton
Hall
Hall.
is the area,
Yeah.
and this is Clifton Hall Great House. It is Clifton Hall Plantation.
Okay. I'll find the information, like whatever you have given to me already, I'll be sure to find it. Yeah. And I don't think there's anything to be found because it told me almost everything about the plantation.
Several generals owned this place as well. I think the Minister of Tourism, the Prime Minister that was in charge when it became independent here, I think it was Errol Barrel, he's been here.
Oh, that's who the highway is named of.
Yeah,
Okay.
and we can take a little walk around the grounds.
Yeah.
My
most
son
certainly.
lives in the stables. And we have just built these kennels where my son has 45 dogs. and
45 dogs.
He breeds cane corsos, French bulldogs, and American bullies. They're champion dogs. They go to shows in South America, the UK, and the US. And he
Okay.
has sold dogs from Colombia, California, and Finland. They've gone
Okay.
all over.
All right. Is it possible to see them?
Yeah.
Okay.
I just want to plant some trees in front so we don't see them from the house. But
Oh, you don't want to see them from the
that's
house.
something that we have to do.
Okay. And they're all locked up, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Because that's one of my fears, you know. Dogs. It's one of my phobias.
A little white one's a stray dog we took in.
Okay.
It was not one that we breed. There are 40 dog kennels there. These are all fruit trees.
All of these.
Yeah,
What type of fruits are these, though?
I'm not sure.
Okay. All right. Let me get a look at the dogs. It's a very lovely place, and you really did a good job with it.
We've got our own bees. We're going to be making our own honey,
Yeah.
selling jars of honey.
Clifton Hall Honey.
Yeah.
Yes.
For wedding events, we have tents on these lawns.
Okay, you keep like wedding receptions.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I love the greenery.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like just peaceful.
It's made through the woods. It's
Some
not quite finished.
okay.
We have to finish this little area here.
Oh, so that you can have like a stroll.
Yeah. And we just want to finish this area.
What's that?
That. It's just a twig.
Oh, I'm scared of things that once it has more legs than us, or it slides or slithers.
And I put gravel on these paths. Like. You get some little solar lights to go along.
Yeah, along the yes, that would be lovely.
The bus stops right outside if you need to get the bridge down.
Huh?
The bus stops right outside if you need to get the bridge down.
Oh, if I need. Oh, I drive in. Yeah. Oh, so this is the gate right here. We
There's a
come
gate
full
at-
circle.
There's,
Yeah,
se- there's several gates. There's a gate there. There's a gate at the front. There's
Okay.
3 gates.
we come full circle. This was lovely. It's the first I'm getting a tour of a great house, a plantation house. I've been inside a lot of them, but the ones that I've seen, those are in ruins because in Jamaica they don't preserve the heritage like here in Barbados. So normally it goes to ruins because people will say that, well, it was colonial history, so they have nothing to do with it.
Now you have an area in Jamaica called Glanrumney.
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 Glanrumney, that's in St. Ann? I've heard
It
of.
begins with double L, Glanrumney.
Yeah, Lanromney.
Yeah, yes. And that's to do with Captain Morgan. Was
Henry
the governor.
Morgan.
Captain Morgan was the governor of Jamaica. And he lived 2 miles from where I was living in Wales.
Okay.
He was the younger brother of Lord Tredegar. And he was a bit of a pirate.
Yes, he was a pirate. Yeah, Henry
Or
Morgan.
privateer.
At first he was a pirate, and then
Yeah.
he was made into a privateer by the crown, by
That's right.
Queen.
And then he became
yeah.
the governor.
Yeah, and then he became
And
governor.
Glanrumney is an area in Cardiff, which is the capital of Wales.
Okay. And yeah, there's also a place that Henry Morgan used to feature in Jamaica called the Bath. It's the something like the St. Michael's Bathhouse, but it's somewhere that's in Wales also, but it's named after the one in Wales. It's also
Well,
in Jamaica.
Landrumney Hall was literally about
Because
a
I've been
mile and a
doing.
half from where I lived.
Okay.
I lived in an old 16th century vicarage there.
Oh. And I've been doing some research into Simon Taylor. Ever came across his name?
No.
Okay. He was like one of those persons put in charge of the plantations in Jamaica while the owner was still
yeah.
in London, in England.
So
That-
there you go.
yeah, that was.
You must not forget,
Yeah.
up the stairs, yeah.
Okay.
We're going up to another bedroom.
Mm-hmm.
This
Go ahead.
bedroom has got an interesting room off it.
Okay.
At the moment, the guy that's helping with the building is staying here.
Mm-hmm.
He stays here about 5 nights of the week and he works here. And he stays in this room here.
Okay.
There's a little area, room, little bathroom, all
Bathroom
needing
is
some
nice.
work. And here we have a strange room with a shutter on the door. What do you think that is all about?
It seems like someone was locked in here, or food was served from here or something.
Yeah,
Was
this room is called the poor relations room.
poor relations.
If you had somebody in the family who was a bit crazy, you would not put him in an institution. Because if my brother was crazy and I put him in an institution, what might you think about me? You might think I was a little mad too.
Yeah.
Maybe I had the same problem. So I would hide my brother away in this room and we would feed him through the hatch. And the floor has some openings in it, so when he defecated, we would just hose it out.
Oh.
And this is where he would stay, in the poor relations room. And
Okay.
this is one of only 2 poor relations rooms left intact in the Caribbean.
And it's the first one I'm coming across. First I'm seeing one. I didn't even know that there was such a thing as a poor relation room.
There we go.
Yeah, so I'm learning. I'm learning a lot. Some people say I'm teaching them a lot, but I'm learning a lot, you know,
You can't teach a lot unless you
unless
learn
you're
a lot.
learning, you know, and we never stop learning.
So we'll say goodbye to Jack, lock him back up again. He's had his dinner.
Okay, yeah, you know,
And
Jack's locked in there. We say goodbye to Jack, give him his dinner, and yeah.
here we have another bedroom. Oh, this just goes up to a little attic room.
Okay.
And here we have another bedroom. And we use this one for the brides at our weddings. The bride gets ready in this room.
Okay.
And again, it has its own bathroom. A little smaller bathroom here, this one, but still quite adequate.
Yeah, this bathroom is rather huge compared to some I've seen. You know. It's a whole entire room. It's lovely. One of the scariest things, you're outside of one of these houses and see somebody shift the curtain and look for you. So, oops. And it's real quiet around here, you know?
Yeah.
Even though there's traffic close by, I don't hear any cars or anything like that. I like that. So you just stay here in Barbados now, or you go back and forth?
I
Barbados.
haven't been back to UK for 2 years.
Okay. Normally people say houses like these, you hear stuff inside them in the nights and stuff like that. How is it here? Oh, normally people say houses like these, you hear stuff in the night and all of that. You got any ghost stories?
No, no
Okay,
ghosts.
okay,
I have lived in houses with ghosts,
Oh.
but I told them to go, leave.
okay. You went and they left.
Yeah. So there we go.
Yeah, that's really lovely. Yeah, so it was a lovely tour.
Thank you.
Really lovely. And remind me your name again.
Robert.
Robert.
Robert Cottrell.
Robert Cottrell. And my name.
Have arrived.
John's Parish Church. Yeah guys, so finally arrived. We are in a place called Gall Hill at the Ferdinando Paleologus. I'm gonna put the spelling of that on screen because I can't really pronounce it good. But he was a descendant of the Byzantine Empire. He was the final descendant of the Byzantine Empire. He died in 1641 and we are at his tomb. This is one of the oldest and one of the most important ruin or the most important historical site in the country of Barbados. So I'm going to be showing you all that now, guys. But before we do that, let me show you all a view and the church in which the tomb is located. Yeah? Hello. That's another one over there. That seems like to be Ferdinando's tomb. However, I'm not sure. This church is just magnificent. It's fascinating. Now these are the tombs. This one, 1822, Samuel Lewis Mayers. This is another Lewis. And then this one, Doe Eastwick. (1941). This is another grave. Alright, so we go over here. Seems like there are lots and lots of graves. Really old graves. Check out this one. Then we've got that one right here. And then we go further. I'm trying to find Ferdinando Paleologus grave. This is another grave right here. And it seems these are for important people, why they are built like this. And here's another one right here. Yeah. There's something inscribed over here. (1974). Alright. So this is the back of the church, guys. And I'll give you information as to when this church was built, who built it, and all of that. Also, there will be information about Ferdinando Paleologus as soon as I find his grave. This Ferdinando Paleologus. This is the grave I'm looking for. So I am here. So that means Ferdinando's grave should be right there. Or could it be this one? I'm not sure. Let us find out, guys. So go further up. This is a baby's grave, or someone who's buried standing. That's another headstone right there. However, I think this should be Ferdinando's grave, but I'm not seeing any inscriptions on these graves. Guys, you see that? This is so amazing. These graves are really built different. That's a tree coming out of the grave. Alright, so we're just gonna circle around, guys, and see if we can find this one. If not, we'll just Ferdinando Paleologus. Now this is the grave we searched for, guys. And here lieth the body of Ferdinando Paleologus. I can't pronounce it, I don't, descended from ye imperial line of ye last Christian emperors of Greece, church warden of this parish, 1655 to 1656. Vestryman, 20 years, died October 3rd, 1678. So I was a little off when I said he died in 1641. However, this is the grave, and now I'm gonna show you all the other graves that are here, and I will give you information about Ferdinando Paleologus. Alright, guys, so yeah, make we circle these graves. Let me show you all this.
Ferdinando Paleologus is one of the most fascinating historical figures buried in Barbados, and he carries a name tied to imperial legacy. According to tradition and family records, he was a descendant of the Paleologus dynasty, the last ruling family of the Byzantine Empire. That dynasty ended in 1453 when Constantinople fell to the Ottoman Turks, but somehow the name and the bloodline found their way to the Caribbean. In the mid-17th century, Ferdinando Paleologus fled to Barbados, likely escaping the chaos and persecution brought on by the English Civil War. He settled in the rugged, wind-swept parish of St. John, where he lived as a respected gentleman and served as a church warden at the historic St. John's Parish Church. Locals knew him simply as a gentleman of noble family, but his lineage told a much deeper story. Paleologus died in the year 1678, and today his tomb still stands in the churchyard overlooking Barbados's dramatic eastern coastline. The gravestone is plain, but the inscription is powerful. It identifies him as a man descended from the imperial line of Constantinople. That makes his final resting place one of the most remarkable and unexpected connections between European royal history and the Caribbean landscape.
And Roland Taylor. There's another Taylor, Mariel Mary Louisa Taylor. You know, the Taylors are very well known when it comes to slavery and colonialism. This seems to be another grave right here. Oh, it's a marker stone. Yeah, guys, I haven't ever seen one of these. It's like a sundial. Yeah, I think it's a sundial. Yeah, I haven't seen one of these. It's the first time seeing one of these, guys. So it's a good look. Yeah, we'll move forward. Yeah, guys, a funeral is about to be kept, so I've got to be very quiet. But even in the church, there is a grave. But the date on this grave, you notice that? That's a J, not a 1. So this would be very, very, very old. Yeah?
Yeah, the J is from before they started using the 1, so that would be very old.
17, 8.
If the J is before it, it wouldn't be a 1, so that would be, if it's J728, it would be 728. That would be the year.
Where is that?
The J, it looks like it's here. J73, but it cuts off right here. So another number would be here.
70, is it?
So because if this is 73, this would be year 73, but it couldn't be that old. I think there's another number here under here.
I'm not sure.
Because the J is before we started using the 1s. If you notice on some old documents, you see it still see the J. So this would be a very, very long time, and this person died at age 7.
Because this used to be before it was part of the cemetery, but then after it was built, and the church, then they include this here. And
Okay.
this one over this one.
There's also one over here?
Yeah.
Here light interred the body of M. Richard Amis, born November the 5th, 1667, died May the 19th, 1752. As all of his daughter Elizabeth Amis, born 17th of January 1728 or 29, died 17th of August 1733. So this is really old also. Yeah guys, and there's still another one here. Not seeing this one proper, but these are really old. These are inside the church now guys. Yeah. These are inside of the church. So I should look if I see any more. No.